Hello, welcome back to the Hollow Seance. I'm your host, Trevor Seance. And today we are getting ever closer to the Halloween season. Halloween is fast approaching. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite things, Halloween and haunted houses. I'm talking about the haunted house season coming up soon. Haunted houses like Universal Studios. And one of my favorite things is sliding. And for those who don't know, sliding is a scare tactic where a scare actor will drop down on their hands and knees and they slide across the ground. They got these gloves on and the knee pads and everything. And today I wanted to talk about that and talk about the slider gear. So without further ado, I'll show you my gear, the gear that I made when I used to be a slider. So this is an old glove of mine that I had back in the day. This would have been a standard glove. So, yeah. Anyway, most gloves are normal hardware gloves that you can pick up at Home Depot. I think these cost usually about like $10 or maybe $15. And then the fingertips there, those are 90-degree flex conduits or flex conduit connectors, and you can get those at Home Depot. They're usually about $1 a piece. And then right here, the center of it, that's a bearing plate. Most sliders, the standard glove, you got the fingertips and then a big surface area to cover your palms as you're sliding to help cover your hand. I like using the bearing plate. I feel like it covers a lot of ground when you're sliding, especially if you're on asphalt or if you're sliding on concrete or something like that. Most people use washers where they're like a round piece, but then you have to buy multiple washers to cover like the surface of your hand, where with the bearing plate you can buy one giant plate of metal and that's pretty much it. And then maybe you might buy like a couple washers for like the bottom bit right here. But yeah, this is what I used to use back in the day. These are spark gloves. So I bought these from a fellow named Pongo Joe. He's a really nice guy, and I bought these. It's the same thing, the 90-degree flex conduit, the connectors, but then the palm there, that's a sparker. When you slide across the ground, striking concrete or whatever, there's a lot of sparks that come up, and the sparks look really cool and it's really scary. And I wanted that effect, something a little extra. I was doing my own mini haunted house on Halloween and sliding and scaring families. They're like, oh, that's so cool. I wanted something a little extra. So last year I went and bought these and the spark gloves. These are really cool. Something else that you'll need, obviously, if you're trying to slide are the knee pads. Now, back in the day, there was a type of knee pad called a ProTech knee pad. I don't know if the company exists anymore. I haven't heard of them in a long time, but ProTech used to be like the basic entry-level knee pad. And then after a while, the recommended knee pad was the Smith Scab. Now back, in 2012 or 2013, Smith Scab knee pads were actually really good. They were a high quality knee pad, but over time something happened. They would have a recap, and the recap is what you needed on your knee pad in order to slide. The recap shells, over time, I don't know why, but they were getting thinner and thinner when you would buy them. So you get the recap, and then if you were working a haunt event, the recaps were so thin that you could burn through them in an entire weekend and they were gone. And it was like, what the heck, you're spending all your money on recaps. But then now a lot of people would recommend getting the Killer 187 knee pads. That's the Killer 187. These ones are great. They have the butterfly. So this is the butterfly knee pad, the butterfly strap. So the whole thing opens up nice. It opens up, it goes right over your knee. And then the white strap here, this bit comes down so that way it would be nice and tight on your knees, and that way that it wouldn't fall off or it wouldn't slide off as you were trying to slide. So the Killer 187, those were like the standard that a lot of people switched to after Smith Scab started making some pretty, for a lack of a better word, some crappy recaps. The 187 knee pads here, the shells here are really thick, and it's Velcro, so the shells are really thick. They could last for a while. I feel like these would last for at least one whole season, where with Smith Scab, the recaps, those recaps would only last for like a weekend. So you would buy them on like a Thursday or whatever, and then Friday, Saturday, and then maybe Sunday they'd last, and then you'd have to go and buy more. These recaps are super thick. They're just really nice. They're super thick. They last a while, and then once they're done, you take the Velcro and you can take them off, and then you can buy new ones. Now, the one thing with the Killer 187s, when I first purchased these knee pads back in the day, these were, I think, $60 or maybe $80. I think nowadays they're like $100, but the recaps themselves are $20. So you get the knee pads for the first time when you're trying to invest in them. These are going to be kind of expensive. They're going to be about $100, but then you keep rebuying the recaps over and over. It's only $20 a pop. And with them being really thick, I think it's a good investment. So for me, I recommend using the Killer 187 knee pads. Not only are the recaps thick, but they also come in different colors. These ones are purple. I used to have ones that were black. Most haunts, when you're working the event, they want you to go like black on black so that it like blends in better. But yeah, they have black, red, blue, all kinds of colors. So yeah, that's a good thing. The last thing you'll need if you're trying to slide, if we're talking about sliding gear, is of course the shoes, the slider shoes. Now, I used to slide on a steel toe boot. I literally would have a steel toe boot, just put it on, and then would wrap duct tape around the shoelaces. So over time, sliding on asphalt and concrete and whatever, the rubber and the leather would rip apart. It would shred away, and there would be nothing, and it would expose the steel. And I thought, like, I really liked that method, just wearing the steel toes themselves. But when you take a regular, like a Van or a Converse, and you take the steel out, if you cut it out and super glue it onto a pair of Vans, you can run faster with it, but then I feel like you're not getting as much protection. But it's all about preference. But yeah, so what I've done, a popular method that a lot of actors use, they have like a Van or Converse, and they literally use like a saw or something, and they cut out the steel, and then they super glue the steel cap over the shoe. So, but yeah, these are really nice. And these particular slider shoes, these ones here, they've lasted me for 3 years now. So yeah, these are nice. And then of course, when you are sliding, I have regular shoelaces, and I cover them with duct tape. I just wrap the duct tape around like about here, and I wrap it around like 2 or 3 times, and then at the end of the night I usually use a box cutter or something like that to cut the tape off. But anyhow, that's all the sliding gear I had. I used to be a slider at a haunted house many years ago, and now I do it part-time in front of my house on Halloween, sliding kids and sliding their parents. Everyone seems to love it, and I love it. Anyway, thank you for joining me here on the Hollow Seance. My name is Trevor Seance, and until next time, stay spooky.